Hello everyone, this is Bentley from Kent, Washington, and today we're going to do some plants for profit. And we're going to start with the Nymphaea species. So right here we got a top-down shot in my big rainbow community tank of red Tiger Lotus, which is one of the most common and also, in my opinion, the best Nymphaeas to grow. So if you see from the top here and we kind of zoom in, you'll see when they get all the way to the top in bright light, they get this green color. But when they're submerged, they have the beautiful red tones and oranges, sometimes little greens and browns mixed in. Um, these are all really simple to grow. You don't need CO2, and you can start from a single bulb. Every Nymphaea you see in this tank, which there are 15 total plants in this tank as of like 3 months ago, and before that, I at one point had upwards of about 25, was grown from a single bulb. That's it. If you're patient, it'll grow out. You'll get a lot of them, and then each one will start sending child plants, and that's when this plant becomes really awesome for profit. It takes a little time, but if you have CO2, that gets sped up a lot. So let's talk the basics of care. Each Nymphaea is a little different. There are some that only propagate by flowering and then getting those pollinated. Some will self-pollinate, but most of the common ones either rely on a bulb or will send their own runners. There are a few exceptions, but for the most part, those are the common ones. So dwarf aquarium lily, red tiger lotus, those are the two easiest to find and great plants. There's also a rarer one that I'll show you here shortly called Nymphaea Santarem, or the Santarem lily. It's full scientific's a little longer than that. We'll skip that part. You don't need to worry about that. That one, much like red tiger lotus, will produce its own runner child plants. So you can just wait, and as you see new plants prop up, pull them a little out so they're not getting shaded, let them grow, and then sell those. But keep the old mother plants, and they'll just keep sending out new plants. We'll see this shot here. You can see how much room those things take up, and why this plant is so awesome is because it can take up a lot of room. It's very easy requirement, and all you have to do is add a little extra iron and you get this beautiful red color. And red plants are one of the easiest things to sell, especially if you can tell someone, hey, you don't need CO2. You just add a little extra iron, and like medium light, you'll get good red. Low light, you'll get okay red. Here's that Nymphaea Santarem. So you'll notice more yellow tones, a little orange and green. And you'll notice how low it sits. But now as we pan up, you'll see all these runners coming up, and you probably saw those off the Tiger Lotus. So there's a trick here. Anytime you're going to trim them, anything that spikes and hasn't unfurled a leaf that's taller than you want that plant to get, trim it off. Trim it as low as you can, but you don't have to go all the way to the substrate. I tend to trim like halfway between my highest leaves and the substrate, because it starts teaching the plant I can only grow so far and I will be fine. Otherwise, I lose those leaves. And here you can see post-trim. Notice all those are gone except for one runner. In its single day, it literally spiked up this much from outside of my view. That's the basics. These plants are awesome because they're very beginner friendly. You can trim them to a size, and they require so little. You don't even need root fertilizers. They're good water column feeders. Very, very simple plant. They take a little time to start settling in to get lots of propagation, but once you do, this is a plant that easily, a single child plant is going to get you $5 to $10 depending on its size, and you can probably produce, if your field gets big enough, you can produce 3 or 4 child plants every like month and a half or so that are good size to sell. Now, without CO2, it might take you 2 to 3 months, but that's fine. You just let them grow out, and then you can sell them in a bunch, or just slowly sell them one at a time as you get customers in. They're a great add-on with your other stems, and this is a plant that I absolutely love putting in a display, letting it take up a bunch of room, but then pulling those child plants off, slowly harvesting them for sale. And you can do them in a small 40 breeder as well, just like you would your other plants for profit. Also, another great plant. You can see here as we pan up, no more things going into the sky. They're really easy to teach people how to trim and how to take care of, and that's the best part. Easy plants are easy money. Never forget that. That's it, guys. That's the basics. If you are not trying any of the lily plants, you should check some of them out. I think they're an amazing plant for profit plant. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and stay awesome.